hablo desde la prisión. Wilson Manyoma. Borbona.
You're good with that, man.
We're good, and we're live it and live right now.
Masters and None, episode 112.
Episode 112. We welcome everybody to the best shit show on Thursday nights.
Yes.
Bring it, bring it, bring it.
With this episode, can we call this episode like the Peaches and Cream episode?
Oh, we could do that.
Going off the
We can call
famous
it
group,
that. We can call it that.
112.
We could do that. Go to room 112.
Yeah. What happened to them?
I think they just aged out of
R&B?
maybe not R&B, but aged. Maybe not. I mean, maybe they had a shitty deal with Puff. You know how that.
Yeah.
You know how that goes.
That's probably exactly what happened.
Yeah, he probably just owned everything, and they were like, wait a minute. You get my wife and my kids? This is weird.
Yeah, and I guess there's only so many songs you could talk about eating snatch, right?
Yeah, that's true. They
Yeah.
did only have one record like that, but
Now you're absolutely correct. But they were ahead of their time. They were rapping, they were singing about eating box before that shit was a cool thing.
yeah, they made it cool.
Yeah, they possibly did.
They made it cool, man. I
Yeah.
remember like everybody, half the people thought they were talking about oatmeal. Half the people were like Peaches and Cream. I love that oatmeal. That's my favorite oatmeal flavor. You know, that's the shit right there.
And then somebody comes up and says, you guys talking about pussy?
They were like, you got us. It was almost like, you remember that Next song?
No.
Remember-
I remember next. What song?
Close.
How'd it go?
That step back, you're dancing.
Oh, yeah.
You know what that whole song is about? The dude's got a boner while they're dancing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what the whole song is about. Yeah. You're making it hard for me.
Yeah.
That whole shit.
Damn, I never knew that.
Yeah, he's like, what is he? The song actually starts. That's what he says in the beginning. You know how there's like talking in the beginning? He's like, I wonder if she could tell I'm hard right now.
I don't remember that. I know the song. The song's fucking infamous. It's this very famous song. I definitely remember the song, but I didn't know that's what it was about. I love songs that have like subliminal messages in them like that. Like I love when Lil Wayne raps about doing cocaine.
Yeah. Spaz said, you telling me that Pony's not about horses? That's the Genuine song.
No.
It actually
That's
is.
funny.
It's about a equestrian life.
Yeah, it's about living the equestrian life
You know, that's it.
and riding ponies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Facts. That it is.
Aggressive ponies.
Yes, the most aggressive.
Yes.
Of the ponies.
Yeah.
Of the steeds.
The Lil Wayne line I was thinking about was about a horse too. It was from that song with the Gym Class Heroes where he says, and I might be, I don't want to misquote him, but he says something about, as the white stallion bucks and kicks me in my face until my nose bust. Pretty sure he's talking about cocaine. I'm not an expert.
I don't know. I'm sure he's got enough money to own a couple Clydesdales.
Yeah, or maybe. I think Bruno Mars did it too. Who was the guy who sung that song? No, it wasn't. It was The Weeknd.
Okay. And he also sang about Pegasus dropping.
It wasn't about horses. It was about something about ivory. Cut the ivory into fine lines or some shit like that. It was one of his more famous songs.
So he's not talking about poaching elephants.
I wish I remember the exact lyrics. He's not talking about poaching elephants. Isn't that fucking crazy that in parts of the world, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, that parts of the world they just see like rare parts on animals and they're just like, if I snort this, it'll make my dick bigger. Like who told these guys that they need to be railing elephant tusk?
Yo, I listen. Everything from like shark fin to, everything. Tiger blood.
It doesn't make any sense. Nobody's dick ever got bigger, dude. Why are you guys still doing this?
Yeah, bro. Come on. Give it up. Give it up, dude. It's genetics.
Just find something else, you know?
Yeah.
Stop killing these fucking... You know what they're doing in India right now with the rhino hunters, right?
No.
They're the poachers. They're just killing poachers.
So they're poaching poachers.
Yeah.
My, how the tables have turned.
Yeah, they're just out there killing poachers to de-incentivize them. Incentivize.
Yes.
Incentivize.
Yes. Damn, that's pretty cool though. I can't be mad at that.
Yeah, can you imagine? You're fucking sitting there staring down the sights, about to fucking yoke you a white rhino.
Yeah.
Thinking you're about to hit a lick.
And then you go ahead and you catch an arrow in the back.
Yeah, it's like that fucking damn, was it a DMX song where he's like or maybe it was a Biggie song where he's like what's that red dot on? I think it was a Biggie song. He said, "Man, you got a red dot on your forehead." He said, "Man, you got a red dot on your forehead too." Bam, bam. It's like a skit. They're trying to rob the house.
Yeah, I think that's from a movie. I think they borrowed that audio from a movie, possibly.
It's very possible.
Damn. Yeah, man, skits are the move, man. Skits don't really happen the way they used to. I know you're gonna laugh at what Chris wrote in the chat.
Chris is a funny dude.
I know.
So I do think that is very funny. For everybody listening later on the audio platforms, Chris is in the chat, says, reminds me of my favorite Cardi B songs. WAP. Clearly about wireless access points.
That it is.
That is super fucking funny.
What's Cardi B up to?
I don't know. Maybe she's having another baby. I have fucking no idea.
I wonder. She was grinding super hard with the music, and then, I mean, there's nothing shorter than a music career besides an NFL career.
Well, you know what? I mean, I definitely think that when people blow up as fast as she blew up and, you know, generate the amount of money that she generated, it's like, it definitely doesn't give you as much incentive to go out there and continue doing it. Like she's very successful.
She is. And as far as I know, her and Offset are pretty good with investing their money. They buy like investment properties and real estate.
Yeah, they own like a bunch of apartment buildings and shit in Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge. That's what the move is. That's what you need to do.
We're going to hand out napkins because I'm fucking out here.
Yeah, we're going to start a GoFundMe for an AC down here.
Yeah, I'm sweating like a whore in church. We want an AC that doesn't make any sound, though.
Yeah, we need a silent AC, or
Silent
we just need a harem of concubines to just fan us.
I'll take that, too.
You know, just fan us the whole night.
They don't even have to fan us. You know what? I could use a good blowing. You see what I did there?
I see what you did.
I'm not talking about air conditioning.
Clever girl.
That's so funny. That word concubine is funny, too.
Yeah. Speaking of a clever girl, that reminds me, you ever see the original Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
So you remember that scene where they had that Australian hunter guy that was supposed to be like a great shot, and he was one of the guys that they brought with them that was gonna like help protect them?
Yeah, he got real shook when they started approaching those cars and they started turning their cars upside down.
I don't know. This guy was a gangster though. You don't remember when
in the original with the little kids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The original one, the guy with the Australian guy, like the hunter guy.
Mm-hmm.
When he's walking through the jungle and he sees one of them and he's ready to like shoot it, and then one of them pops out from the side like ping, and he goes, "Clever girl," because they used to hunt in like a pack.
Yeah, the raptors.
Yeah, and then that thing freaking ripped his goddamn head off. But
dinosaurs are fucking crazy.
Yeah, it reminds me because the new there's a new Jurassic Park. I think it's like Jurassic Manhattan or something like that. You know, some like ridiculous shit. They're like running through the subways or something.
Is it based in New York?
No, I'm just fucking around. But it's something ridiculous like that. It's like they take
Jurassic San Diego.
Yeah, it's something absurd like that. Like they're like running through DC, knocking down like, you know, one of them has like the Lincoln Monument like in his mouth, like I'm like, oh my God. Of course, I'm exaggerating, but it's something along those lines. I'm just hoping that M. Night Shyamalan doesn't have anything to do with that movie.
God. Justin's not happy with M. Night Shyamalan's most recent films. I tell you what, I just watched The Black Phone.
Okay.
It's a thriller.
Okay.
About a kidnapper who kidnaps children.
Is that what a kidnapper does?
Well, kidnapper doesn't just kidnap children.
That's true. Kidnappers kidnap. They
Yeah,
adult nap.
Yeah,
also.
sometimes they nap adults.
True.
Sometimes they nap pets.
True.
So this kidnapper is napping up kids, and it's a thriller. And I'm not into thrillers. I don't like shit popping up at me. I don't like scary. I don't want to be scared. I don't like that shit. I don't want anything that's gonna give me anxiety. But this movie was actually pretty good.
So this movie was delicate on your emotions?
Yeah, I suppose it wasn't like one of those like what do they call the movies that have like the pop up shit, like the
The pop-up shit.
You know the shit where like something just pops out of somewhere and it's like intended to fucking scare the fuck out of you.
Like what? That stuff like The Ring, where she would like pop up like,
yeah, sure, like that. This was
you know.
just suspenseful. I don't mind something being suspenseful. I don't like it when fucking shit just starts popping up.
Okay, yeah, I think when stuff pops up, sometimes it's a little cheap. It's like anything could startle you.
Yeah.
I mean, if your dog like jumped up without giving you any kind of warning. I mean,
well, yeah, they're scientifically scaring you. Like they know exactly what it's gonna take. They're gonna tone down the music and fucking make it real quiet, and then slow everything down.
Yeah.
Wham! Just when you're like thinking like, what's gonna happen, and then boom, this guy pulls a hog out on you. It's like, what are you gonna do with this?
Wait a minute. Speaking of that, we have yet to touch on the complete and total biggest dirtbag of the decade. That anesthesiologist.
Oh, man. We didn't talk about this guy.
Yes.
What a fucking sicko. You go ahead. Give everybody the story about this fucking...
So there was an anesthesiologist. I'm not going to say his name because his dirtbag deserves like no screen time. But he's an anesthesiologist in Brazil. And he was just caught possibly doing one of the worst things I've seen in a very long time. Like, I don't even know what can compare to this. So he's a healthcare professional. Not only is he a healthcare professional, he's a physician. And not only is he a physician, he's an anesthesiologist, which means he's in charge of sedating you. He's in charge of how much sedative you get. He's in charge of how much medication, how long you're out, the degree to which you're out, how deep you're out. And the staff he was working with had realized that he had been giving larger doses of drugs to pregnant female patients during C-sections. So what the article said that I read was that they switched the OR on him at the very last minute. They were like, okay, we're not doing the procedure in this room, we're doing it in another room. And they proceeded to begin doing a C-section. So he does this thing as the anesthesiologist. He sedates the patient. And there's like this surgical sheet that separates the patient and the anesthesiologist, like kind of from the part of the body that where the procedure is being performed. So there's like something here blocking it, and then the procedure is being performed on the other side of that.
Yeah, so imagine you're laying down on your back and there's like a sheet halfway through your body so you can't see your legs.
Yeah, exactly. And just meters away from his coworkers and colleagues, this guy was putting his member into the mouth of this patient while she's sedated.
He's graping them.
That's what he got charged with. That's absolute, it's one of the worst things that I have ever heard in my life. And I don't really know what would even be an appropriate punishment for this guy.
I don't know.
What's an appropriate punishment for this guy?
He's in Brazil. You know they might just stone him to death out there. But I don't know what would be an appropriate. For me, it's just like mind-boggling because you look at these things that happen, things like this, cases of necrophilia, and you're just like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Like, what about this? There's nothing about being in an OR that turns anybody on. It's cold as fuck. There's especially in a room like that, there's a smell in there, you know? Yeah, I don't know if anybody's ever been in a C-section room, but when the patients leave there, that shit's a fucking crime scene. It's not it's a pretty invasive surgery.
Yeah, it's very invasive, but I think this is a sickness we're talking about. This isn't something like, this is a sick man. You know, I think if I remember correctly, he was like 32 years old. So
not even an old dude.
No. So first of all, to become an anesthesiologist by the time you're 32, like that's a hell of a lot of schooling. And, he went straight through. Like there were no breaks. He didn't have any different idea of what he wanted to do. More than likely, it was like he's just been on the path, and there must have been some kind of, oh shit. I thought I knocked, for some reason, I thought it was like a drink.
That's what it looked like. I was like,
ah, but there's there must have been some kind of abuse at some point in his life or something, because this is such a sick act. There's really no explanation for it that would make any sense, even like to a criminal. Even the criminal mind doesn't even do this. Like, he's not going to have a good time in prison. Like, this isn't something that is pardoned. Like, even in the street, like, nowhere is this a thing that he's going to get away with. You know what I mean? Like, he's lucky if he gets a significant sentence and is like stuck in solitary for the rest of his life. You know, if he gets to any kind of area in a prison where there's other inmates, oh, forget it.
You're right. I think that it has to be something that's like more along the lines of a sickness than somebody just trying to have like I don't even want to use the term like good time, but I don't know. It's like you said, it's something just fucked up in his head. What up, Cloudy?
Yeah, this is a sickness, bro. This is
It's
a
gross.
sickness, man. But hopefully he gets what's coming to him.
What a fucking weirdo, dude.
Yeah, hopefully he gets what's coming to him. And I'm sorry that this act took place in order for them to be able to prove what he was doing.
Yeah, because so like Justin originally said that they didn't know why he was giving these victims more sedatives than necessary, and there's a video of this you can't really see much, but you see him like behind a curtain or whatever. There's a window that faces into the operating room, and you can kind of see him behind the curtain, which from my perspective, it's like, are you so sick that they changed this room and you're not intelligent enough to understand that people could see you through this window?
He's blinded by his sickness and this psychotic urge.
Yeah, because the reality of it is that anybody who's ever been in an operating room, I've been in an operating room many times, everybody knows where the windows are. You don't. First of all, I'm not worried about doing anything crazy in there. You know what I'm saying? If I'm in an OR and I'm thinking about where the windows are, it's probably because I got music bumping and I'm dancing in there, and I don't want anybody to come in and catch me dancing and singing. Yeah. And I'm not in there with patients. And
also, I'm wondering how often has he done this? Like, it seemed like he, from the way it was described in the article, it seemed as though he had no concerns about getting caught. He had no concerns about anybody like suspecting him. That's a sicko. It's like those dudes that get caught by those predator hunters on YouTube.
Yeah, I love those channels.
Like, the fact that they're confident enough that they're going to get away with this in contacting a minor and stuff. I'm like, you must do this all the time. Like, you're like, oh yeah, I'm just coming to your house. Your parents are gone. Like, I'm like, what? It's like, how many times have you done this, you sicko?
It's not a red flag where this person tells you, hey, I got to tell you a secret. I'm not really 18. That right there should be like nope, not going to fucking go with this one, because I will go to jail for a fairly long time, and I will be a dot on a fucking map. They will turn me into a fucking red dot on somebody's fucking map.
They're going to be sending letters to the local community,
bro,
letting them know that there's a new person has moved into the area.
Sending letters, bro. They're gonna make you go door to door and inform the neighborhood. Hey, how's it going? I'm just here to I think the Nelk Boys did a prank about this, and they were going door to door and they were saying, hey, I'm new in the neighborhood, I just want to come over and bring you some cookies, introduce myself, my name's such and such. And, if you ever need anything, always feel free to reach out. And they're like, man, you're so nice of you, man. Like, nobody does this anymore. Great. And he goes, yeah, no worries, man. And while I'm here, just a technicality, I kind of got to tell you guys, I'm a registered sex offender. And I need you to sign this document saying that I'm a sex offender and that I'm going to live here, or whatever the case may be. And it's funny, but dude, fucking gross.
The Nelk Boys did that?
Yeah, dude, they have a lot of funny pranks.
Oh, my God, dude. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, dude. One of their ones that like that they were like almost they were arrested for, and they were convicted of something. I forgot what it was. I think it was like inciting hysteria or some shit like that. They went into a bookstore and they were like looking for books on like how to cover up murders, but they were in like onesies, like bunny suits that were covered with blood.
Oh, so it looks like that they actually
killed somebody, and now they're looking for like an instruction manual on like how to fucking hide their body.
And where were they, at the library?
They were going to bookstores. I think they were going to Barnes
bookstores.
and Nobles.
Oh my God.
This is when they first started. They were like doing their Nelk Boys. For anybody who doesn't know, it's a super famous, super popular YouTube channel. They're responsible for Full Send and Happy Dad. But before all of that,
That's right. Happy Dad is theirs.
Happy Dad is there.
That came up at a party I was at. They asked if I ever had a Happy Dad, and I was like,
Did you have one?
no, I don't think I did, because for some reason I didn't put it together that was their drink.
Yeah, and it's intentional. It's intentionally done so that way it's kind of like separated from the Full Send brand or the Nelk Boys brand, so it lives on its own. But when they first started, what they would do is they're Canadian. When they would come into the States, and they would just go state to state, and if they had like a fan in that state, they would like crash at their crib and shit like that, and they would do pranks in that state, and then they would go to the next state, so on and so forth.
That is craziness. You just got to jump out the window to make shit like that take off, bro.
Yeah, and that's what they did. They just literally quit school and just started doing that shit full time.
Where'd that name come from? Nelk. It's like a mouthful. It's hard to say. Nelk Boys. Nelk Boys.
I'm sure that
Is that like all their initials or something?
No, because it was Kyle, Jesse, and two other dudes that started it, and then one of the guys ended up saying that he wanted to go, like he went to school or something like that, and then the other guy also kind of didn't go with them. They got big. One of the guys ended up coming back, and now Jesse isn't even a part of the Nelk Boys. He had another channel called like the Shithole. It's now been like renamed, and there's no like Nelk Boy or Full Send branding on it at all. Nobody really knows what their like quote unquote falling out was, but they just know that Jesse isn't a part of the isn't a part of the videos anymore. I'm sure he has some kind of like stake in the company or whatever the case may be, but they say it's because he didn't want to do pranks and he wanted to get sober and shit. And like, their fan base, their whole entire thing is about like, drinking beers and smoking cigarettes, That's like their thing. They cater to like that same Barstool audience, like the college kid, cranking beers, fucking smoking darts, partying.
Yeah. Is Steve Will Do It still drinking the way he used to?
No, he doesn't have to anymore. That guy
doesn't have to anymore. I mean, he was drinking at a level that I wasn't sure he could stop.
Well, he doesn't have to do the liquor slams anymore because his videos consist of just giving away things like buying a car for a less fortunate family, spending $100,000 on people's Walmart. Like he does like videos like that. I don't really watch him too much. I still watch the Nelk Boys videos. I don't really watch Steve Will Do It too much. I mean, his videos were entertaining, but I don't know. I'm just not as entertained by them as I would. I go through my phases on YouTube.
Yeah, I know he gives away a lot of money and stuff.
Gives away a fuck ton of money. He's got it seems like from the outside looking in, like he invested appropriately, he invested wisely, and it kind of put himself in a position where he doesn't have to slam liquor anymore. He owns some of Happy Dad. And, Happy Dad officially sponsored Sean O'Malley.
Yeah, that's pretty goddamn legit. I mean, come on, bro. I called it.
You did?
I called that shit. They said that they were gonna sponsor a fighter. It was supposed to be someone else.
Well, yeah.
They should be sponsoring Sean O'Malley.
So they were going to sponsor a fighter. They didn't do Sean O'Malley because Sean O'Malley already had like some kind of deal going on, and he was a UFC fighter already. Is there a seltzer in there for me? And so what they did was they went to Dana White's show looking for, what's the show called? What's the show called? Looking for a fighter or something, looking for a fight. Yeah. And they picked one of the fighters, one of the contestants from that show. And they picked him to be like their Happy Dad fighter. But that guy already had a management contract, so that fucking shit fell through. And then somehow, some way, they ended up going back to Sean O'Malley and getting with him. Which I think is fitting. His demographic is their same demographic. And now look at Sean O'Malley. He's going to fight Petr Yan, former UFC bantamweight champion, for what could arguably be the next shot at Aljo.
I don't know if he's ready for Petr Yan.
I don't know if he's ready for him either. But like you seen Tim posted, he said, what do you say? Great risk, but greater reward. And they're very aware of it. It's like this is gonna be a risk. This is gonna say like either you can hang with the guys in the top 5, or you can't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think that he's gonna lose anything if he loses this fight. I don't think he loses any kind of popularity. I don't think he loses anywhere he is. People still want to watch him. He's a combination to me of a popular polarizing figure, you know, not quite to the level of a Conor McGregor, but he has a loyal following that's growing and one day may be something similar to that. But at the same time, people don't really care if he wins or loses, kind of like Cowboy. Like, nobody really cares. People just want to watch Sugar fight.
I think that he's got a huge fan base that's not only like UFC fans or mixed martial art fans. Like, there's people who watch him for his podcast. There's people who watch him for his live stream gaming. He has an audience that's very large outside of his UFC audience or outside of the audience within the UFC.
I got no words. Have you seen that they're talking about monkeypox and like spikes in cases? Did you see that? There's like 1,000 cases or something now.
No. What the fuck is that sound?
I don't know, bro. It's your house.
That's just not coming from here. I don't know what the fuck that is. Go ahead. No, what? Is there monkeypox fucking soaring everywhere?
Sure, nobody's breaking into my whip. Oh, all right.
Nah, you're good.
But
what, you just read something about the schmonkeypox? We shouldn't even say that word.
Nah, that now they're on here talking about New York State detects first polio case in however many years.
Oh my God. Get the fuck out of here.
Bro, this is just, they thought they hit the mother lode, the jackpot, and that the disease kind of clickbait was going to go on forever. And they're realizing nobody's clicking that shit anymore.
It's becoming white noise. We don't give a fuck anymore.
No. Why is there still a Smovid-19 tab at the top of Twitter? Get rid of that. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. Stop posting that.
It's fear-mongering.
Well, wait a minute. Speaking of fear-mongering, there was another shark attack off the coast of Kismet, bro.
Not only was there a shark, there's a fucking great white, a juvenile great white washed up on the beach.
Bro, there are significant, there's been like 7 shark attacks or something like that.
Yeah. There's sharks in the water. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you live in New York, you're on the East Coast, there are sharks in the fucking water. There's
always been sharks in the water, but these are hungry sharks. You know, these are different. These sharks got the munchies ever since they legalized recreational marijuana. I don't know. Somebody maybe they crashed some kind of boat trying to smuggle something in off the coast.
You think that's what it is? Recreational cannabis? The sharks are getting to it?
Listen, it might be. There must have been. I want to know if there was some kind of shipment that crashed off the coast that was on its way in, and sharks got a hold of it because now they're just eating anything that moves.
It's I don't know. Are sharks kind of like whales in the sense that they don't really traditionally intentionally attack humans? Because that's the understanding that I was under.
Yes. There's really, as far as I know, I am not a marine biologist. Please consult your local
marine biologist.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. But no, they don't. I don't think they recognize, at least not to this point, I don't think they recognize humans as a food source because we're not abundant enough in the water to where sharks are seeing us all the time. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to go eat that human. Mm-hmm. It's that's not something, we're not in the water, so I don't think they've evolved to that point. But I mean, after this summer, they might find a little taste, and they're probably like, ew, this dude tastes like greasy fast food. This shit is disgusting. Like,
hey, listen, maybe it'll keep them away from us then. I don't know. I'm not a beach goer, so it's not it is interesting to me, but we talked about this the other day. Like, the ocean is their house. You swim in there at your own risk.
Yeah, facts.
This is their crib. The shark don't come out in the shower and get you. Shark attack time. That's not the way that shit works.
That's always my point, bro. I have the same kind of idea when it comes to the train. The train don't hit you at the mall. The train hits you on the tracks.
Yeah.
A shark don't attack you in the forest.
Nope.
Shark don't attack you on a campsite. Shark don't attack you at TJ Maxx. That shark's going to get your ass if you're swimming, well, not even significantly, because these people are getting attacked in rather shallow water. I mean, it's not crazy. I mean, they've been surfers and lifeguards where surfers might go out 100 yards or something like that, but it's not anything super crazy where they're like deep sea diving or something like that.
It's like the people who play with the animals at the zoo. You think because that monkey's in that fucking cage that he won't reach up out of there and grab you? You seen that fucking chick that got too close to that fucking lemur enclosure?
Bro, and that thing grabbed a handful of her hair?
Yeah.
And people are laughing like that's funny. And people in the comments were laughing like it's funny. I'm like, that's not funny. He just scalped that girl.
Yeah, no, bro. It's like, yo, stop fucking around with fucking animals. Don't fuck with animals and crazy people. There was an off-duty officer in Brazil that tried to stop a man from attacking his wife with a machete. and the guy swung the machete at him. The cop put his hand up like this.
Cut his hand off?
Cut his hand clean off.
Get out of here.
Clean off. The dude's doing an interview with a fucking no hand. They didn't even put that puppy back on. You know Brazil. They don't know what the fuck they're doing over there. 60% of that country's the fucking jungle.
He cut it clean off like
Cut
some Kill Bill?
clean off.
Like some Kill Bill shit.
Yes.
Oh my
Above the wrist.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Damn, that was a sharp ass machete. He must have been working with that thing.
Yeah, he must have just polished that puppy up.
Yikes.
Cut the fucking, he's a police officer. He was off duty.
And he was off duty.
Good on him for doing the right thing and trying to help this lady that's getting beat up by her husband.
Correct.
It's just it's unfortunate that happened to him. But the guy's a G. The guy, like, you know, he held his head up the whole time. Like, he's doing interviews and shit, holding his fucking nub up, talking about, you know, this is what happened. But it is what it is.
Gee, but is the girl alive? Like, he saved her life? Or did he just chop his end off and then turn and take her head off?
You know what? She's probably alive, and guess what? She's going to be supporting her husband throughout this case. She's going to go back to him. That's like the never-ending revolving door of domestic, like, relationships that are plagued by domestic violence.
Yeah, nah, you're not lying.
It's unfortunate, but I think it's just like the statistical reality.
Yeah, she probably bailed him out. She went and bailed him out of prison.
There's somebody like dragging a rake across the fucking street or something like that. If you guys hear that, we apologize. But
yeah, what the hell is that? It's more than likely somebody trying to do some kind of car work they're not qualified for.
Oh, you know what? You're right. You know what that sounds like? It sounds like a jack.
Yeah, that's somebody doing some kind of shit they shouldn't be.
It's all right. So did you see the new Game of Thrones trailer?
I did not.
It's called Game of Thrones House of Dragons. It's going to take place. It's like a prequel.
Oh wait, I did see. I think I saw like the teaser that was originally like 6 seconds or something. It's about the House Targaryen, right? Yes. House Targaryen is the most gangster. Those were the dragon people.
Mm-hmm. The white-haired people.
Yes,
dude. It looks fucking good. You should check it out. Everybody should check it out.
Wow.
I'm excited. August 21st. It drops on HBO Max.
What day?
August 21st.
Oh, shit.
Not even that far away, man.
It's next month.
Yeah. I guess HBO is going to get a spike in fucking in subscribers.
Damn, I wonder what is HBO. That's publicly traded, right?
Who owns HBO?
I don't know. Some companies gotta.
They're owned by Warner Brothers or something. I don't know. I have not the slightest clue who owns them. Whoever owns Skinamax, or maybe they bought Skinamax. I don't know. But
Skinamax.
It's like they're gonna go up. Netflix is gonna continue to go down. Unfortunately, because I'm a Netflix fan. But honestly, there's not a ton of shit on Netflix lately. I did watch Black Phone. I talked about that earlier. I thought it was pretty good. And I'm looking for something new to watch now. I'm excited about the Game of Thrones stuff. I guess in August when that comes out, I'll watch that.
I'm trying to think of what I can recommend for you to watch. I'm trying to think if I have anything.
I'm gonna watch the Jurassic Park movie. I just found that.
Nice.
And then I'm going to. I told you I'll watch Black Phone. If you guys just joined now, I talked about Black Phone. Very, very good movie. I recommend it to people. And I don't know. I tell you what I am interested about. The new Type R has been announced and the look of it. The new Honda Civic Type R, which is like their sports car. I use this term. It's like, because at the end of the day, like, they're economy cars, right? But this will be their, this is like their sports model. It's the 50th anniversary of the Honda Civic, and it's the 30th anniversary of the Type R. First Type R was the NSX Type R, and now here we are, 2023. The new Honda Civic Type R is going to be released. It's already set the record at the Tsukuba circuit for the fastest front-wheel drive car over there, and now they're working on the Nürburgring right now.
Wow, I know that there was always. I remember coming up, the Acura Integra Type R was always the Integra Type R was like everybody went crazy for that shit.
So the Type R wasn't released in the United States until the last generation, and that's why it was such like a big thing, because it was like we couldn't get it.
Yeah,
you know, it was like owning a GTR or a Skyline in general. It was like, oh man, where the fuck? It's like seeing a unicorn. Yeah. You know, where the fuck you see that thing? The steering wheel's on the other side. It's got a different engine. It's not like we got a car that came with that engine. It's like it's a totally different car. And it's the same thing with this new Type R. Even if you own the last one, this one's completely redesigned. It's a longer car. It's more sedan looking. It still has a hatchback, but it looks more like a sedan. It's supposed to be, they haven't released horsepower numbers, but it's supposed to be faster than the last Type R. It's a 2.0 turbo. I mean, it's not all the displacement in the world, but I think like now we know like displacement doesn't automatically equal to power. So like how big the motor is doesn't just mean that it's going to be faster. So I'm excited to see what when it comes out, what people do to it, people's modifying it, and and I'm also excited to see if they break the record at the Nürburgring. That's going to be pretty cool for the front wheel drive cars.
Do we know when it's actually dropping? What was the day you said? Do you know the date?
It's going to be a 2023 car, so it's probably going to come out like September, October.
I'm thinking because I know Seeker hit me up. He hit us up wanting to come on. So I'm like, maybe you guys can talk about that and lead me out of the conversation again.
Seeker,
that would be perfect.
Come on down, brother. Come on down. He's always welcome here to have a conversation with us. And just catching up on the chat real quick. Chris says he's cautiously optimistic about Game of Thrones. The last 2 seasons were booty, so we'll see. I think that's something that happens with all shows that last a long time, right? It's difficult to continue to meet the expectations of the users or of the consumers, because the reality of it is that we want every season to be even better than the last. And how difficult and kind of unrealistic is that, especially with a show as good as Game of Thrones. I will say that the last season could have happened in less episodes.
That's funny that you say that, because I felt like they rushed the end of it. I felt like the last couple episodes, I felt like they were trying to get it done in less episodes. And for that reason, things I felt like were just cut short and closed off before characters' stories were actually finished.
But wasn't the last 3 episodes like the same battle?
You know what? I would have to watch it again.
Yeah, because you might be right, and I might have felt that way, but now I'm like turning it the other way in my head because I haven't watched it since it released.
Yeah,
I didn't rewatch Game of Thrones. But yeah, I will say at the very least, at the end of the last season, whether I felt like it was too long or too short, I wasn't very impressed by it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't ever really rewatch anything. Like I'll rewatch some movies. On occasion, but that's it. I don't rewatch TV shows.
No, it's a lot there's a lot of dialogue in there. It's a lot to consume.
It's just I already know what's going to happen. Like what? I don't understand the point. Like unless I was studying film, like unless I had an idea of the way I wanted to shoot something for a product, or or something like that. If I wanted to shoot a short for like a clothing company, something like that, and I was like, I'm going to draw inspiration from Game of Thrones. I like their colors. Everything's very cool, very dark.
That's like when you made that whole entire DJ set surrounded The Witcher.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was pretty fire.
It was fire.
I got to do a couple more of those. I have a whole Matrix one that I have set up already.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just haven't done it.
If you guys don't know, Justin live streams on Twitch his DJ sets. What's your Twitch?
It's a Shuffle Beats. I haven't streamed in a minute, but yeah, I'm gonna jump back into that because that shit is just fun, bro. Especially in the summertime, bro. I just open my back door, and shit, and just let it loose.
Yeah, start blaring music.
Let it get loose. What do we got here?
Go ahead.
Read what Chris says. Chris says something about their material.
Chris says the problem is that they ran out of material to adapt. Now there's no script to run off of. There's a rough outline. That's it. So I'm concerned. Well, because this one's a prequel, they could kind of do whatever they want, right? This is all the shit that happened beforehand. I'm sure they have to stick to a certain criteria to make it like historically accurate based on the lore of the show. But they could kind of mix it up in whatever way they want, right? Because even the stuff that we know now is kind of speculative.
Yeah, no, that's true. I think that's fair. It's they do have to stick to something because some of the story was talked out during the seasons, in terms of, the king before the Queen of Dragons, before what was her name, Daenerys, like before her, when they talk about how crazy her father was and how he like burned down the whole place and how he used to ride dragons around and just torch everything. I'm like, I can't wait for that. For the dude, imagine that one of those guys gets his hands on like, you know, he just has a bad night of drinking one night. That's not like some guy that just, you know, gets in his car and hits the fire hydrant on the corner when he's backing out of his driveway.
This guy's burning villages down.
This guy's like, you know, gets in a fight with his wife and jumps on a dragon and just goes and just starts torching the countryside. You know?
I was reading the YouTube comments. One of my favorite things to do on any good video.
Yeah.
Read the YouTube comments. And people will talk about how realistic the fucking dragons are and shit. Like, the dragons look so great. They look so real. And I'm like, dragons ain't fucking real. They can fucking make them look like whatever, and we wouldn't know if they look real or not. Like, what does that even fucking mean? Like, they look like, you know, they don't exist, right? That's like, it doesn't exist. They just made this up. Maybe they existed at one point, but we haven't fucking dug up a fucking dragon skeleton and put it in the fucking National Museum or anything like that. Like,
yeah,
shit ain't real. We don't know what. This is all like an assumption of what we believe, if they ever did exist, what they would look like.
That's true. I think what they probably mean, if I were to guess, is that like the texture of their skin looks reptilian, the way they move looks real. It doesn't look like Falcor from the Neverending Story.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Like that. Oh, is that the name
the
of that
dog?
Thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess. I suppose from that perspective, I can understand. Yeah, they do look realistic, like the CGI or whatever the fuck they did to make these dragons appear did look realistic. But I'm like, there's like arguments in the comments about like the realism of the dragons, and I'm just like, what the fuck are we talking about right now? Are we really arguing about fucking dragons?
Yeah, it's, you know, people are always going to do that, you know, in their World of Warcraft world or whatever.
Whoa. Let's not make this about WoW. We don't have to. You see, you right away, you're trying to drag us down. You're trying to drag us through the mud, and I won't allow it. As the nerd consigliere of this group, I won't allow you to fucking make us. Because I will tell you one thing.
What?
The dragons in WoW were real. And they were very realistic. Anatomically and fucking, like, you know, their scales were almost like 3-dimensional. I was very impressed by the fucking dragons in World of Warcraft. And as a matter of fact, if you look at the Game of Thrones one, they might have been based off of those.
You know what? They were pretty realistic mounts.
Yeah. Oh! Yes! Give it to me, baby. Thank you. They were mounts.
That was a pretty goddamn real mount.
Yeah.
I ever saw one.
Yeah, I like that. Did someone write that in the comments? How'd you do that?
Nah, bro.
Good job, man.
Son, I remember what you told me. You said, hey, you know, if you got a tiger, you know,
the
back
spectral
in the day,
tiger.
The spectral tiger was a rare mount.
The spectral tiger was a huge deal, man.
You could buy it for like 5 G's or something like that.
I remember my boy Spaz. I hope he doesn't mind me telling this story, but he would see like people selling them or like on eBay or something like that, and they'd be like really cheap, and he would just pick it up and he would buy it. And I remember him. I think he got like 2 that weren't real, and I was kind of like, why do you buy them if, like, you know? He goes, because if it is real, I'll have one.
Yeah, goddamn right,
which
bro.
makes it's like mind. I was like, you're right.
Bro, if somebody had on like selling on Amazon like a real life baby Pegasus for like $8,
yeah, you take the risk.
I'll take the risk. What's $8? This might be a real goddamn Pegasus.
No, you're absolutely correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, take the risk. That's why when I spent $50 on those Bowflex adjustable fucking weights, and you know what I got in the mail? You know what I fucking got in the mail?
A bag of screws?
Ray-Ban sunglasses. I ordered the Bowflex like adjustable dumbbells. They're like the ones you could click and do the clicking on the side, and the weight adjust. And I thought I was going to be shredded. I was supposed to be shredded by Memorial Day. I had a plan. I hate the beach, but I was going to be on a boat. I don't know what boat I was getting on, but I was going to be on a boat looking fucking rock, you know? And I'm waiting for my fucking shit to come in. I'm waiting for it to come in, and it didn't come in. I put a dispute through PayPal. The seller provides PayPal with the tracking number. So PayPal says, no, they gave you a tracking number. It's coming. You got to wait for it. Fucking 2 months later, I get a fucking box that's like the size of this fucking can in the mail. And I'm like, that's funny because I don't think the dumbbells fit in that box. But maybe you got to put it together. Bro, I open this fucking box, and not only is it Ray-Bans, but they're purple Ray-Bans. So I couldn't even wear them. It wasn't even like a win-win. You know, so I spent $50 on what I can only assume is a fake pair of fucking Ray-Bans.
Oh my God. And let me guess, you kept it.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let you return it.
No, it was too far because you can only put in a dispute like within like 30 days or something like that.
Damn, see, they figured out the scam.
Oh, of course. That's a very known thing, though. I'm not
Yeah.
the first person that's been fucked by that fucking thunderous fucking
That thunderous hog.
that thunderous hog of a fucking Taiwanese scammer.
Damn. Hey, everybody do me a favor. If you're in the chat right now, if you're watching live, please give us a thumbs up. We appreciate the thumbs up. It helps the old algorithm.
Yeah, if you're with us, if you're rocking with us and you enjoying what we're doing, or even if you're not enjoying it, give it the thumbs up. So,
It's free.
It's free. It is free. But yeah, it's I've been fucked by buying things online. You ever bought anything online that just wasn't what it was supposed to be?
Absolutely.
What was it? Tell me.
Absolutely. If you want, I'll tell you a little story about these suits I bought on.
Oh my God, I know this fucking story. Yo, I'm surprised we're still friends after this because I know I'm to blame for this.
You are 100%.
Go
You're
ahead.
100% to blame for this.
Tell the story.
So, my buddy sitting across from me on this table right now, he puts me onto this website, and it's called Woot.
WOOT.
Anybody that's familiar with Woot? Woot is the absolute 100% shittiest website to buy anything from online.
I think it's like
Hands down.
It's like a third-party company from Amazon where they sell all their broken shit that they don't officially sell through Amazon. So they sell like refurbished goods. In my defense, I had bought 2 things from them that ended up being great. I bought a Dyson vacuum,
Okay.
and then I think I bought those suits.
Okay. So,
Go ahead.
here comes my, here comes the caveat. So, he puts me onto this website, Woot. He's like, listen, man, I got some suits on here, whatever. Because at the time, he and I both had jobs where we had to wear suits. Now, I had quite a few suits, and I became quite the connoisseur of suits.
Yeah.
So I always like to have suits. And plus, it's way easier and way cheaper when you have a lot of suits, when you can rotate them before you get to having to do dry cleaning.
Yeah. And me and
So-
Justin were arguably one of the fresher dudes at this facility we were working at. And we prided ourselves on our suit game.
That's right. Respected by the 6-figure gentlemen.
Facts.
By the $250,000 folks. So I go on and I see these suits and I'm like, damn. So I order my size. Right. So I order my size and I'm like, yeah, can't wait. They're like, oh, it's going to take a little while to get there. I'm like, okay, no problem. So I'm waiting. A few weeks go by. I get my package. I'm like, perfect. Put these suits on. I take these suits out. I go to put the pants on. I can't even get the pants above my knee.
One leg. Couldn't even get one leg.
One leg. I couldn't get one pant leg. And if anybody's ever seen these puppies,
Justin's a thin dude. He's not.
there ain't nothing too thick going on here. You see this? There ain't nothing too thick.
He's very limber, though.
Yeah, I got some flexibility, but I'll tell you what I don't have is them squat thighs.
No. You got a mean rubber guard, but
Yeah, it's about it. Get you in some mission control.
Yeah.
But I can't get these goddamn pants up my leg. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, the size must be messed up on this. So I start looking at everything, and it's the sizes that it says. The only thing that I can guess is that this is this size in a country where the humans are very small. So they must be very, very small people. Wherever this suit was manufactured, they're tiny, tiny, baby-size, 9-year-old men.
I'm going to guess. I'm going to take a wild guess and say that these are probably manufactured like somewhere in East Asia.
I'll tell you what, I don't know, but they were the smallest pants and the smallest size shit ever. So now, not only is Woot shitty because of that, Woot is one of those made-up online businesses that don't have humans working for them.
You can't find a fucking phone number to call these dudes to save your life, which is something that I hate when I'm trying to get customer support and the company just doesn't have a phone number and they like obligate you to send you an email. We appreciate that thumbs up, Chris. Not the one we were looking for, but we'll take it.
Yeah, we'll
Go
take
ahead.
it. And it's just crazy to me that there's nobody that I can talk to. I'm like, so I have no recourse if I buy an item that I'm unsatisfied with. There's no customer service, there's no nothing. So you have to email, and then you get somebody that emails you back from God knows where.
Somewhere in Bangladesh.
You know, somewhere where, you know, I'm like, is this a phishing email? Like, I don't even want to open it because the grammar's so bad. I'm like, what is this? And I couldn't get in touch with anybody. So then what I did was I just contacted my credit card company. And I was like, these guys scam me. I was like, this website scammed me, and I want you to dispute the charge. I was like, dispute the charge. You know, and they're like, well, have you tried to resolve it in every way possible with the company? We'd like you to reach. I said, listen, I can't get in touch with any of these guys. It's a scam, scams. Like my mom says, ¿Qué esto que está llamando scam likely? You know, yeah, scam likely. I said, this is crazy. And then finally I got my money back, and then Wood hit me back. These suits were such shit. They were like, keep them.
We'll give you your
And
money
here's
back.
your money.
You filthy animal.
Jesus Christ. I couldn't believe it. It was like a multiple month-long ordeal.
Yeah, they're definitely sitting over there like, if you weren't such a fat American, these might fit you here. And it's like, the reality is, it's like, our sizing charts are different.
Yeah, and we're, you know, we eat protein over here. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, they eat a lot of fucking pigeons. I did order a suit. My suit happened to fit. I think I ordered a bigger size, and I was starving myself at this time. I had developed the eating disorder. I lost a bunch of weight, and I pretty much fit into anything at that point in my life.
Yeah, this Chris is hilarious. He says, what is this? A suit for ants? Do you remember that?
Hell yeah, dude. I love that movie, bro.
He said,
I kind of wish they didn't make a second one.
what is this? A mall for ants?
There's a school.
A school for ants.
He said it's going to need be at least 3 times bigger.
Yeah. How can they learn if they can't even fit inside the building?
Yeah. Dude, Zoolander was such a good fucking movie. Movies back then were just great. That Ben Stiller, fucking Adam Sandler era, like, their movies were just fucking, like, they were funny. They were funny. They didn't need, like, any kind of, like, there wasn't, like, any gimmick with them. They were just good, funny movies.
Yeah, man, for sure. That there was a little stint where it was where Owen Wilson was in a lot of those films too.
Yeah, he's hilarious too.
Yeah,
dude, I loved Owen Wilson back in the day. Wedding Crashers was one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, dude, that movie had to grow on me. I didn't really appreciate it much at first, but I've watched it now multiple times, and that shit is so funny, man. I'm like, yo, this is really a thing. You could really, really do this. I've been to enough weddings at this point where I'm like, oh, you can absolutely do this.
Yeah, dude, it gave me a better appreciation for Vince Vaughn. And like, when you look through his catalog, he's been in a lot of good movies.
Vince Vaughn's been in a lot. He's been
in a
in
lot of good
serious
movies.
movies too.
Yeah.
You ever see The Cell with Jennifer Lopez
No.
and Vince Vaughn? Not for nothing, that movie is dope. I don't know if anybody agrees with me in the chat, but that movie, The Cell, is dope.
What was it about?
It's about this advanced technology in the future where they can, like, you know, it's kind of, they lay down on this thing and they put this, whatever, they put this suit on and they're able to enter the mind of a serial killer. So what happens is
You talking about Avatar?
no, there's a serial killer. It's actually a similar concept, but there's a serial killer
Yeah.
that they catch. But the guy, like, I think he goes into some kind of coma or something like that. And there's another missing girl that they can't find. So they can't figure out how to get, he's not coherent. So they can't get him to say where the girl is.
Oh.
So then they use this technology, and Jennifer Lopez is like this psychiatrist or something like that. And Vince Vaughn is a cop. So they send her into his mind to try to find where the girl is. And it's a crazy movie because you know how dreams are? Mm-hmm. Dreams don't make any goddamn sense. It's just crazy, weird corners of your brain and of your imagination. So that's the way she's experiencing this. She's in this crazy serial killer's mind, and it's like a psychotic, like funhouse type of shit. And she's trying to, and then there's like a little boy that she finds, and you could tell like that's like what's remaining of his innocence. So she keeps on trying to talk to this little boy and see if this little boy will tell her where the girl is.
And what was it called? I'm sorry.
The Cell.
The Cell.
Yeah, and Vince Vaughn ends up then going in with her later on. Like, listen, you guys, somebody's got to go with you. So like they go together they lay down in this thing and they put, it's like these strings that hold them up, whatever. That's not important.
Yeah.
But the concept is that they enter the serial killer's mind. It's super cool,
Sounds like
man.
a fucking cool movie. I just want to go down the
It's
list
really cool.
of like Vince Vaughn movies, so we could give him a Vince Vaughn appreciation.
Yeah, that Vince Vaughn, and mind you, that's a very tall, handsome gentleman. He's
he's like 6'7".
Yeah, he's a tall guy. That's a rare height on a gentleman that's not playing sports.
Wedding Crashers,
Yes.
The Breakup,
Okay.
Dodgeball, Old School.
Old School is great. Come on, you kidding me? Speaker City.
Dude, yeah. Yes.
Are you kidding
Dude,
me?
Old School was fucking hilarious. Couples Retreat. I'll give you 4 Christmases. I'm not going through every single one.
4 Christmases was great.
It wasn't bad.
You didn't like it, really? It was
I
okay.
thought it was good. I just thought when you listen to like all the other movies, like 4 Christmases isn't. It's along the lines of like Couples Retreat, but it isn't anywhere near Dodgeball or Wedding Crashers. It's more like The Internship. It's like one of his movies that came out that were great. It's not fucking Starsky and Hutch.
No. Well, it's way better than Starsky and Hutch. 4 Christmases?
No, I didn't think it was better than Starsky
I thought it
and
was.
Hutch.
In my opinion,
I liked Starsky and Hutch though. I thought it was a good movie. Mama said I couldn't handle the V8. Be Cool. Remember Be Cool?
yeah, Be Cool. Be Cool was all right.
Be Cool was great. Made with him and the other dude. They were going to casinos and shit.
Okay.
Zoolander. He was in The Anchorman.
The most classic movie that he was possibly ever in was what's that movie where it's him and the guy from 4 Christmases. He's one of his brothers. I think it's like Dallas. He's the guy that he's like a writer now. It was Swingers.
Swingers is in here too. Yeah, 96.
Swingers is classic.
Swingers is
bro.
a great movie. That's what, dude. His persona in Swingers. It's like if you watch that movie and never watch anything else, you would believe that this is really him. Like the way he talks. What's going on, baby? Yeah, we're going over here. Yeah, baby. He's like, he got like that fucking like that 80s swag.
Yeah. And he was so young in that movie. He was super young in that movie.
Yo, what up, X?
Yeah, X, what's up? X actually just texted me. He said we should do he said we should talk about Andrew Tate.
I would love to talk about
He's everywhere. I'm like, yo, I have to stop myself from talking about this guy.
I would love to talk, but first things first, I want to say, X, thank you for sending over what you sent to me. Justin brought it over like 3 hours. I don't want to say 3 hours ago, but not too long ago.
I told him. I already told him. I said I haven't brought it. Berto's all on me for not bringing him the basics merch.
Yo, but I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Once you release it and you give us the okay, you already know I'm going to have it on front row for the podcast. The second you give us the okay.
Facts.
So Andrew Tate, he's so funny. And he's an interesting character.
Yeah, he's in his view on the Matrix that we're in and shit like that. That shit is super. I think it just applies. It applies so well.
Yeah, and he's like one of those internet characters that like, so even when you don't want to agree with him, some of his stuff is so logical that you kind of have to agree with him. Now I won't say I agree with everything he says, but there's a lot of the shit he says just is like you can't argue with logic. It just seems logical, right? It's the same thing with all of the. He's not your average like manosphere guy. Because I believe, in my opinion, that he's more of a character than the other people are. And even him himself, like you can see some like I'll give you an example. He said something the other day where he's like, when I go to a steakhouse, I go to the waitress and I tell her, what's your most expensive steak? Or give me your most expensive steak. And she says, well, we have the ribeye or the tomahawk. And he says, bitch, I didn't ask you what your options were, what the options were. I asked you what the most expensive one was. He goes, and now I don't say that. I laugh and I say, ha ha ha. Which one's the most expensive one? And she says the tomahawk, and I say, I'll have that one. Thank you, please. So like he's showing like the one side where he's kind of like doesn't want to tolerate the fucking nonsense of this woman telling him that there's multiple options of steak. But he's not expressing that, where I feel like some of the other guys that live in that world in the internet, like they portray themselves as if they really speak that way in everyday life. I think that he has a more realistic outlook on from that perspective, as opposed to people like, I know I always bring them up in comparison, but Fresh and Fit. I would love to say Kevin Samuels, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels, but even I thought he was also realistic. So I think he's kind of like, that's my interpretation of Andrew Tate. Boy, he's fucking funny.
See, but to me, they focus more on male-female dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
Both. He doesn't really focus on that. He focuses on like masculine excellence. So he focuses on like, you know, go to the gym, make money, don't be a lazy pig, like that kind of stuff. You know, that's what he focuses on, and the journey of becoming a man. The only times that he really talks about male-female dynamics is when people make him talk about it.
I was just going to say that.
He doesn't choose to do that. They ask him about it, and they bait him into that. But really, what he's talking about is like, be a professional, you know, dress well, take care of yourself, go to the gym, make money, you know, carry yourself well, be a strong man, learn how to fight, you know, and then there's some like, the women will like you at that point.
Yeah, and it is, you're absolutely correct. You know, he's painted as like this sexist figure, but in reality, it's like people drag him into these conversations. His ideology doesn't surround around like bashing women. It's about being like the best man you could be based on like his fundamental rules of like what in his mind is like the best man, right? Because obviously everybody's going to have a different opinion on what the ideal human specimen is.
He's pretty accurate about like the ideal like masculine specimen, like what we would imagine a man should be. He's pretty on point with that, in my opinion.
Well, it's not,
you know? I'm
just saying, like, because everybody's going to have a different opinion about that, right? Because some people will say, Andrew Tate says, you know, you should, I'll give you an example. You said that he says you should learn how to fight.
Yes.
Some people might not think that that's one of the characteristics that a man should have. It doesn't mean that one person's right or wrong. I'm saying that this is his outlook on how he paints the perfect man. So whether, you know, I think it's accurate or not, it's like this is his depiction of a perfect man. Somebody else can have their opinion of what a perfect man is, and they might not incorporate all the characteristics that he incorporates.
I think it's pretty understood that as a man, you should be able to fight.
I'm just saying.
I think it's pretty understood. If anybody was to say that as a man, you don't need to fight, you don't need to know how to fight. Sure, you do.
Well, there's plenty of people that would argue the contra, and that would say, like, well, we don't live in a society where that's necessary as it used to be. But what I'm saying is simply that he's giving you his interpretation of what a man should be. This isn't. It's not written as like fact, because people are going to have different opinions of what a man should be.
But I think on average, he's pretty close to what most people would say.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
A man should be fit. A man should be able to fight. A man should be able to provide for his family. You know, these are pretty much the basic pillars, right, of what he says that a man should be. Like, you know, if somebody's girl is walking with them and they're unsure if, you know, like what he says about getting sparked. He said, if your girl's walking around with you and she knows that anybody that steps to you can spark you, she's not really going to feel safe. You know, no girl wants to be with a guy that can 9 times out of 10, he's going to get his ass beat.
But those are speaking in absolutes, and that's just not the case, right? That's not the case where this is a rule for all
it's
women.
A generality.
Yeah, it's a generality.
A woman that wants a weak man that can't fight, that's not a woman I want.
Yeah, but and at this point now I have to play devil's advocate, right? But the reality of it is that some women, that might not even be in their head, right? They could say, I want a man who makes a bunch of money, right? And if you ask them, well, do you want him to be tough? Maybe they'll say, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nobody said tough.
Well,
I said know how to fight. You got to be able to defend yourself.
Okay, hold on.
You got to.
Hold on.
You
said that most women would want that, right? And what I'm simply saying is that if you ask another woman, right, she might give you 3 qualities that she's looking for in a man. I want somebody fit. I want somebody who makes a bunch of money. And I want somebody who's, you know, not going to fuck the neighbor, right? That might not be on her top list. Would she like somebody? Is that on the list somewhere? Yeah, possibly. But everybody's interpretation of what they want is going to be different. And it's so difficult to generalize what you should be like or what you shouldn't be like. I'm not a fan of like this concept that's come out of like people selling courses on how to be the top G. And I'm not saying that that's what he does. I'm just saying that these are like generalizations. I think he's fucking hilarious. I think a lot of the stuff he says makes sense. And I think that I can agree with many of the things he says. I think there's only like one thing he's ever said that I was kind of like, well, this one's kind of outlandish.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess just in my mind, I wonder, like, I don't know what kind of girl wouldn't want a man that can protect her.
There's plenty of women out there, and I know this one might be hard pill to swallow, but there's and it might not be a majority. They might be the outliers. And I always do this. I find myself continuously arguing the exception.
Yes.
Which I shouldn't do, because the reality of it is I don't fucking have a dog in this race. I don't really give a fuck. But I could argue that there's women out there that want guys that play video games. Because they play video games and they want to find somebody who they can share things with. There's women out there who really enjoy reading books, and they want somebody that they can just kind of go on vacation with and read books with. And on their criteria of what they would describe as a perfect man, somebody being able to defend them isn't it. Do I think that a man should be able to defend his wife? 1,000%. I'm simply saying that it's a generalization, and it's not necessarily the case with everybody. It might be the majority though.
I think if you were to take a woman and you ask her that, and she gives you those things, I want a guy that likes to read. I want a guy that, comes with me to get my nails done. I want a guy that whatever. And then you say, okay, what about, I think if you were to prompt her and say like, okay, would you want him to be able to defend you and be able to handle himself in some physical altercations? They'd be like, oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think a majority of women
it might not be
yes.
on the top of their mind, but if you were to ask them, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's kind of a given.
Yeah.
Like, or else you end up with like an XQC.
XQC,
where he says this guy that was just on this Aiden.
He was on. He has his own stream. He's very, very, very popular online. But he was recently. Andrew Tate was recently on a stream with Aiden Ross, and Aiden Ross brought in XQC to get his opinion on certain things. People, value his opinion. He is a smart guy. He said some stupid shit about how if there's an intruder in the house, that him and his girl would go together, or they wouldn't go at all, because I'm like, dude, you're fucking out of your mind. If there's an intruder in my house, that's not something that my girl got to deal with. That's something I have to deal with, and that's not me being toxic. That's not me being toxic. I hate that word. Toxic masculinity. Masculinity.
That's nonsense. You're just saying the gender roles when shit hits the fan. When the boat's on fire, the women and the children get on the goddamn raft. When somebody busts in a house, the man goes downstairs.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Given my dog is going first.
Yeah, of course.
I'm going to let my dog off first. So you better shoot low and you better shoot quick.
Yeah. Like when I had raccoons in my house. Yeah. I had raccoons in the house. One of them came through the bathroom. You think I went in first?
Nope. Let the dog in.
Let the dog in first, and then I'm right behind him. I tell you one thing, my girl definitely ain't fucking coming out. No. But that's also the dynamic of my household. That's what my wife expects out of me. So in my house, that rule applies. You know what I'm saying? In any stable
house, I think that's what's going to happen.
There's a lot of these women now that, they want to be, that they may not admit it. That they do want a man that could defend them. But if you ask them, they'd be like, no, I don't need, I could defend myself. We're equals. And while I do believe that we're equals, I believe that we're just different.
Listen, we're equal. We're equal in terms of importance, right? In terms of as a human, we're equal. But in a physical fight with a man, now given, I have been tapped at jiu-jitsu by women, so I'm not going to sit here and say that that's impossible, and I will openly say that. There are some savages that are highly trained. It happens. I don't know if it happens to everybody or guys just won't admit it, but I'll admit it. So it is possible.
You look at the elite fighters, they knock out most regular men.
Yeah, but, so there's different scenarios to this. But when it comes down to a real physical altercation, I'm going to stand a better chance against a male intruder than my girl is.
I agree.
Period.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. That's what should happen. That's my take on it. And shout out to Claudio and X talking about you should be able to defend yourself against women. I agree. I mean, you should be able to I misread that. You should be able to protect your women to a different degree and in different degrees. And I agree.
Yeah.
That's kind of a given in my book. But
and it's also like just as like my everybody's relationship is going to be different.
Yeah, it's just, everybody's relationship dynamic is different. But, I think there are some particular absolutes that you need to have, and that's one.
Yeah.
Like, you need to have that.
I think, even as a human in general, like, you don't want to put yourself at a disadvantage in life, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's worth it to sit there and roll the dice and hope that nothing bad ever happens and that it's okay, we're civil. Do you really think we're civil? People are getting pushed on the fucking train tracks when they're waiting for the subway. Do you really think we're as civil as we like to pretend we are? I mean, I'd rather, it's like a gun. I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Yeah,
I'd rather be able to defend my girl and never have to do that than not know how and just hope. Because it's like, what are you going to do? If somebody runs up on you in the parking lot of the grocery store and, and tries to take your woman from you or take your child from you, what are you going to do? You just going to start pleading with him? Like, what does a man think that he's going to do in that scenario if he has no idea how to physically defend himself and you're in a non-concealed carry state? What's a man going to do in that? You're just going to beg? You're going to try to pay him while he's dragging your girl into the back of a sedan? Like, what the hell are you going to do? You just going to, you think Popeye was sitting there like, listen, let go of olive oil, Like, nah, he got it popping. He ate his spinach and he hit Bluto up the lip with the right hand.
Wham, bam.
That's it. Bang, bang, whack, zoom up to the moon, you know?
You want to guarantee a week of blowjobs? Stage a kidnapping.
Chris, I misread that. He said, defend myself against women. Got it. Writing it down. I misread the quote, my friend. I misread that comment. But
yeah, I also think that one of the things that people need to understand about like guys like Andrew Tate, dude, he's so fucking funny. Every time I say his name, I think of all the funny shit he says.
It's hilarious.
But one of the things I think people need to understand too is that there's a level of exaggeration in some of the things he says.
Correct.
And that's needed for some people to understand what he's saying, or for you to understand like the point, or even for you to start, even for some people to be motivated, like he says. Motivated. So, take everything he says not with a grain of salt, but just understand that there is some exaggerations. You can't take it as like the Bible.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't take anything anybody says as the Bible. But yeah, man, we're over the hour, bro.
That's it.
We're gonna end with the Top G Cobra Tate. You know what I mean?
Top G Cobra Tate. Look him up. His name's Andrew Tate. They
don't need to look him up. He's spamming everybody. Everybody's sharing his shit. Ryan just sent me one of his videos.
He says, I've conquered the internet. I've conquered TikTok. I've conquered YouTube. I've conquered it all.
Yeah, he said, I've conquered TikTok and I don't even have a TikTok.
Yeah. He is super fucking fun. I love that he says that, like, I've conquered this. He said it to Aiden Ross when he goes, I'm the biggest on the internet. And Aiden Ross is like, I'm the biggest fucking streamer on Twitch right now. Like, yeah, like, you're big, but
yeah, but those guys, it's funny that he had a conversation with those guys, because those are the exact kind of guys that he refers to when he says these guys got money and skipped the entire process of becoming a man.
Well, he talks to Aiden Ross about that, actually. That's why I thought you should watch it, because he talks to Aiden Ross about how, you're 21, you have all the time in the world, like, why you should be shredded, like, why, like, you're fucking rich, like,
yeah, for your situation,
for his situation, like, why aren't you, like, you're not, essentially, he's not maximizing what he has.
Yeah, he's not that's the whole concept of masculine excellence. Like, there's things like, yeah, you have the money, but you're missing a lot of components, and those are the kind of situations where you have, your wife is hooking up with the pool guy, because you're missing every other thing. He's missing every other aspect of what a man is supposed to be. His girl may say, oh, it's no big deal, but she's looking at the man when he's not looking. She's looking at a man. She's like, man, cool stream. Yeah, I love video games. I don't know, but for some reason, I'm just dry as fuck sitting over here. Like, that's the thing.
How dare you, Justin? Some women do like video games. Poor fucking Bobby Lee. If anybody knows Bobby Lee and his girlfriend Kalila broke up. I know some people probably seen that coming, because
Kalila was out of his league,
because she's fucking hot as fuck.
Remarkably out of that man's league.
Yeah, well, Brendan Schaub didn't hit it, so I guess he's not. I guess you don't got to be a Superman. He could fight,
but what's he missing, dude? What's he missing? He's missing intelligence.
Is it because he's married?
No, he's married and he's missing some intelligence.
Okay,
you know what I mean. So
I don't think he's that dumb. I think from that perspective, why they might not be a fan of him is because they don't respect him as a comedian.
I mean, I doubt that. I doubt that. You think she's only hooking up with funny comedians? Bobby Lee's not that funny.
No, I just think he's not respected in that world that they're in. They're in the comedy world. He's somebody who the comedians feel like he kind of just broke into, like, kind of got his hand held to the front of the line. And he's not respected amongst comedians.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with if that woman wants to sleep with him. Those are two completely different things. You're conflating things that don't make it. They're not the same thing.
Yeah, I think
you think she's only hooking up with funny comedians or comedians she respects? No,
I think that she's in that world. And she respects certain people who are respected in that world. He's one of the people who isn't respected in the world. So she may not look at him and have the same respect for him as opposed to a woman who's a fan of mixed martial arts. And she looks at him from a different perspective because even though he doesn't have as many accolades, he's not like, he was never a champion. He was a successful mixed martial artist. He did make it to the top tier of mixed martial artists, and he also beat dudes who were pretty big deals. So I think that he gets more respect in that industry, and that if she was somebody who was in that world, she's more likely to fuck him. In my opinion, I could be fucking very well be wrong. She could have not fucked him because he knows her husband, and she didn't want to fucking the money to stop coming in, or whatever the case may be. I have no fucking clue.
Yeah, no, I think this has more so something to do with the way he approached it probably turned her off. However he approached it, he probably approached it in a very arrogant kind of a way, and it turned her off. Like, wait a minute, like, the fuck out of here. Or she just didn't. It was too close to home.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I'm saying? It was too close to home. Like, trust me, it doesn't have to do with him being funny or not on stage. I can guarantee that. I guarantee the next guy that she hooks up with is not a comedian.
But that's not what I said. I said that he's not respected in the industry because he's not funny. And the lack of respect in her circle is what might have turned her off to him. It also could have been the fact that his pickup line was, "You want to walk me to my truck?" Allegedly.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just too close to home and bad timing. Because there's no way that she was like, "Nope, I'm loyal to this Bobby Lee." I doubt that.
I don't know.
I doubt that. So
that's it. Masters on episode 112. So apparently I can get a Kardashian even though I'm not in the NBA.
Thanks, Baz. That's what I'm talking about.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's just not going to be a thing. It's not going to work out that way.
You can get a Kardashian if you're not in the NBA. They're all fucking dirty dudes. Get a bunch of shitty tattoos. But you got to get them quick before they get out of this phase. And
that's not going to last either.
Well, it's not going to last. That's what I'm saying. You got to get them quick.
That's the thing. It's all about lasting. Like, anybody can get anybody for a little while.
It's about how long you could keep them.
It's keeping them. Like, you can land a big fish, but that thing is going to bust a line and bounce. Like, that's what's going to end up happening. That's why nobody can keep Kim. Nobody can keep her. Nobody even wants to be honest. She's just difficult to deal with. But anyway, we're getting off topic, but Masters of None, episode 112. 112.
The Peaches and Cream episode. That's it, guys. If you're still rocking with us, please give us a thumbs up. We'd greatly appreciate it. If you missed this episode and you want to listen to the audio version of it, check us out on Spotify, Stitcher, anywhere you get your podcast audio formats. We're on there. If we're not on there, you DM me and I'll throw us on there. That's it. 112. Are we back on Monday?
We're back on Monday. And we can, why? What's Monday?
I thought you were going away this weekend. It must be.
No, I'm going away the next weekend.
Okay.
But yeah, we're gonna also, guys, be on the lookout for the clips. Be on the lookout for the reels and the shorts. And if you can, share some of those shorts because they're quick to consume. They're less than a minute, and it's some of the best highlights of our episodes. So make sure you guys partake in that. Eventually, we're gonna migrate that to a separate channel. But for now, we're gonna keep this traffic coming this way. So share it with your friends. Share it with your enemies. That's it.
Yeah, and I appreciate you, Chris. I got 2 thumbs up from you tonight.
Woo!
Double down. That's it.
Double.
Oye, te hablo desde la prisión.